Welcome to the 7 virus words that are a glitch in everyone's matrix. Open sesame, open says me. Abracadabra. My name's Michealah, and I'm a neo-linguistic, optimistic blissfit, a wordgician, word philosopher, cunning linguist, word traditionist, linguistic mystic, lexicon artist, and adorable wordo. I'm not just your ordinary wordsmith. I'm a words myth with a word agenda to get leverage on limiting thinking. You see, I've been cultivating my spell magic powers to drop interesting seeds of subliminal messages into the imagination of collective consciousness. As a wordsmith, my questioning is to find a funfluential vocabulary that will wake us up from the doldrums of normal reality so we can align with the infinite and the infinite possibility of creation, that anything can happen and everything is possible. My mission is to turn the impossible into I'm possible through the metamorphosis and transmutation of the English language. I believe that through a healthy and embellished lexicon, the power to break free from limiting thinking and speaking becomes tangible, and a new, progressive, and revolutionary world of words can be established. I believe that words chosen wisely, crafted creatively, expands the mind's capacity to make radical discoveries that influence the way we perceive reality. According to the hypothesis of linguistic relativity, the particular language one speaks influences the way one thinks about reality. So, the way we think about the world is directly related to the words and the language we use to talk about it. The truth is, words have immense power, both words spoken out loud and the words of our inner dialogue. As Rudyard Kipling puts it, words are, of course, the most powerful drug used by mankind. I remember growing up with the childhood chant, "Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt me." However, I've come to recognize that words have the power to destroy, to start wars, or to heal and create a revolution. Speak a new language so the world will be a new world. Rumi. Language and the worlds we use to communicate plays a significant role in almost every aspect of our human experience and how our reality is shaped. The famous word of power, abracadabra, which comes from a long line of mystics dating back to the ancient Middle East, translates as I create as the word, or I create as I speak, or what I speak is what I create. Therefore, in order to create a unified coherence, we must go to the heart of where coherence begins, which is words and the language we use to express ourselves. There's a reason the word spell is in spelling. It's because we cast spells with the words that we think and the words we use to express ourselves. That's why it's vital to be aware of what we say and how we say it. The words we use are the words we live by. And that's why it's important to investigate and examine words to make sure they're useful, advantageous, and congruent with what we truly want. I think it's important to think about your words in 2 ways: limiting, negative, and destruction, which sounds like I have to, I need to, I should, I'll try, and I'll hope. Or you can think about it as creative, inspiring, and generative, which sounds like I can, I am, I will, I have, I choose, I create, I enjoy, I love. There are words in our vocabulary that make it challenging to succeed. Today, in this presentation, I'm going to share with you the 7 virus words that are a glitch in everyone's matrix, meaning When you use these red flag words, it will drop you out of congruency, coherency, and rapport with yourself and others, and it will program you for failure. These 7 virus words act in the same way and have the same effect on your subconscious when you say them to yourself, as well as when you express them to others. It's important to note here that the first place to begin with reprogramming your language is with yourself and your own self-talk. What I've noticed is just becoming aware of your own self-talk and how you express yourself is the most important lesson. As you become more aware of yourself, you'll begin noticing when others are using these words and recognizing how these virus words play a role in your relationships with others. Just a warning, as much as it's very exciting to learn new things and share your excitement with all your friends, I have found that when you reframe and correct others without their consent, it can create resistance and defensiveness. What I like to do instead is when I hear others using a lot of these virus words, I simply reframe them in my mind instead of interrupting and correcting them. Just know that the outer world might not be ready for what I will be sharing with you today. So just focus on your inner work, get good at reframing yourselves, and let others be where they're at. Viva la différence. There are subtle nuances in words that create subconscious presuppositions that lead us to a particular avenue of thought. In NLP, that's neuro-linguistic programming, a presupposition is basically a way to understand what is the person assuming to be true underneath what they're actually telling me. Presuppositions are beliefs or assumptions which support the language we hear from others or ourselves. These 7 words, according to the work and research of Dr. Gary Daniels, are the most toxic words built into our vocabulary. They are why, try, need, but, should, don't, and hope. Sound familiar? Well, these words are deeply ingrained in everyone and are challenging to eliminate. It takes commitment, awareness, and discipline to rid them from your vocabulary. However, with dedication and practice, you'll find it gets easier and becomes more natural. Now, true and real. Natural. Even with all this knowledge, it's easy to slip up and use these words unconsciously. The trick is to have fun and laugh at yourself when you use them, and then get a do-over. Reframe it another way. Once you master your inner voice, it will reflect in the outer world. So ultimately, the work starts with you and then ripples out to the world around you. Begin within. Remember, your thoughts are spells and your words are incantations. Without further ado, the first word of the 7 virus words is why. The problem with why questions is that people are generally not very good about the reasons or causes of their behavior. I remember as a child, my mom used to ask me, "Why'd you do that, Michealah?" I would draw a complete blank. My answer usually sounded like, "I don't know, because why not?" Now I understand that is perfectly valid explanation to why. Nobody really knows why they feel, think, or respond the way they do. They just do. People do what they do because it feels like the best decision to make in the moment. When you ask yourself or others why, you automatically set yourself up for failure because nobody has the answer to why. When you ask someone else why, you immediately put them on the defense, having them feel insecure. There's a presupposition that they did something wrong, even if it's not how you intended it. It is how it is received. When you ask why, you're asking people to search for a reason, making them feel they need to justify or explain themselves. When you ask why, you immediately fall out of rapport with someone and innocently destroy. I'll say that again, innocently destroy the possibility of accomplishing what you truly want. Why has you looking for a reason, and sometimes there's no other reason than that's your intuitive response in that particular moment. Why is destructive, belittling, and condescending. as it creates pressure to elucidate and interpret yourself. It's an uncomfortable and awkward question and tends to put people on the defensive, knocking you out of rapport. Why has a feeling of antagonizing? Because it automatically makes you feel like you're doing something wrong. If you truly desire to know the reason and meaning behind what people do, the best way to get the true answer is to find a new question. The shift word or antidote to why is how, what, and who, which are more action and future oriented and far more helpful. For example, you might ask yourself, why can't I figure this out? Versus, how can I figure this out? Or who can I call to help me figure this out? Or what do I need to do to figure this out? Can you feel the difference? Here's another example of using the question with others. Why? Why did you do that? Versus, I'm curious about your strategy for doing that. Or even, that's a really interesting way of doing things. Can you tell me more about it? Or I'm curious about what you were thinking when you came up with that idea. Tell me how you came up with about doing that. Instead of asking, why are you so angry? Instead, you could say, how are you feeling? Or what's making you feel this way? Naturally, we want to know the reason people do things. And we also want to have the best opportunity to get the true answer. Bringing curiosity and helpful questions helps disarm and validate another person's experience, which helps to build rapport, safety, and trust. The next virus word is try. Try is a neurological virus in our thinking process that presupposes us to fail. It creates a feeling of despair, letdown, and defeat. When we use the word try, it doesn't use our common sense to complete something and automatically presupposes that we will fail at it. I'm going to try to make it to your party. I'm going to try to get together with you next week. I'm going to try to pay you at the end of the month. What are the chances it's going to happen? Your brain doesn't know what it means. I'm going to try to get good grades. I'm going to try to show up on time. And as the wise mystic Yoda would say, try not, do or do not. There is no try. If I asked you to try to pick up an object in front of you and you followed my directions, then you'd be spending all your time trying to grab the glass of water or trying to pick up the pen on your desk, but never actually doing it. You might get lucky with try, but it's never something you can really count on. Try is a lousy excuse for not being in integrity with your authentic desires. Using the word try is a way to keep someone engaged with possibility without having to actually follow through because you didn't fully commit. Try is like a flaky friend. You just can't trust to follow through. When we hear the word try, we already know it's probably not going to happen. Fix it and replace it with the shift word attempt, and the conscious mind will understand it on a deeper level. And it will be easier for you to follow through. You could also replace it with, I'll do my best, or if you're bold enough just to say it like it is, thanks, and I'm not going to be able to make it to your party. At least it's honest. For example, I'm going to try to get good grades versus I'll do my best to get good grades. I'm going to try to show up on time versus I'll attempt to show up on time, or I'll see you at noon, then you're actually committed. The next virus word is need. Need is the stickiest, most codependent word ever. It presupposes that something outside of yourself, outside of your locus of control, must change in order for you to feel okay. I need to make money. I need to lose weight. I need you to show up for me. The subconscious mind presupposes something outside your ability has to happen before that can happen. It shut down our ability to control those needs. When we say need, we drop out of rapport with our innate talents, powers, skills, and magic to accomplish what we want to accomplish. In love songs, it's the root of codependency. I need your love to survive. I need you in my life or I will die. Virus word programs you for failure. The only thing we really need is food, water, air, shelter, and of course, if you're like me, love. The shift word for need is choose, desire, wish, I look forward to, accomplish, value, and I am. I'm sure there's a lot more words that can be used. Just make sure to keep the locus of control within. Don't make something outside of you necessary to happen in order for you to be whole. If you do, you'll be suffer because you cannot control the external world. You can only mind your own business, clean up your room, and take care of yourself. Feel the difference and the felt sense in your body when you say, I need to make a good impression. How does that make you feel inside? Now, use these shift words and tap into your felt sense. I choose to make a good impression. I desire to make a good impression. I wish to make a good impression. I look forward to making a good impression. I value making a good impression, and I am a good impression. Need is outside in thinking versus inside out. It implies something outside you must change in order for you to have a different experience, and it puts a lot of unnecessary pressure and stress on others when instead you could just opt people into showing up for your request if you have a more inspiring way of doing so. The next virus word is but. This is like a bomb ready to crash because it serves to negate or distill all the positive statements made before it. When used to connect two phrases in a sentence, the word but essentially dismisses the first phrase altogether. I love you, but you hear the good stuff and then it cancels it out. Sometimes we don't even consciously register that when we hear the word but, our brains translates it into this. But equals, here's the catch. It immediately negates what you just said and tunes people up to what's coming next. And what's coming is not good. I really like you, but I really enjoy spending time with you, but I think that's a great idea, but this isn't always an issue. However, when it is, and it undoes his praise and agreement or an important point, it can start to become a problem. Dare I say, but can act as a violent and manipulative word that longs for more integrity and cohesiveness. It's a contradiction and quite confusing to hear it and feel it. It has people thinking the opposite of what you just said. When you say the word but, all your good intentions go right out the window. You have completely contradicted yourself and have others questioning your true feelings. Sometimes people will tune you out when you use the word but because people know what's coming next. For example, you're having a conversation with your boss and they say, you know what, you did a great job on that project last week, but you'll probably will forget the compliment and quickly move on to worrying about what you did that your boss didn't like. You lose credibility with others and have people questioning your authentic feelings. But is the ultimate word of incongruency. Now, imagine your boss says, you did a great job on that project last week, and so no matter what is said next, it won't detract from the fact that you did a great job. It's important to be elegant in the way that we speak and channel a more collaborative feeling with communication so we can achieve greater levels of results. While there is certainly a time and a place for using but, I found that swapping for and, however, and nevertheless improves the delivery and reception of feedback with amazing consistency. Instead of saying, I love your idea, but you can say, I love your idea and it's not a fit for me. She was very tired. Nevertheless, she kept on working. If you want people to feel good about what you're saying, get rid of the word but. Now, once you're an advanced practitioner, you can start using the word but from a negative to a positive. However, this is suggested only after you mastered not using it in the way I just described. For example, that really sucks that you wrecked your car, but I'm really happy that you didn't get hurt. The test was really hard, but I think I passed it. In this direction, it works because it leaves you in the positive. All right, let's leave it on the positive. The next virus word is should. Don't shit on each other. The problem with this word becomes blatantly obvious in the definition itself. According to Oxford Dictionary, should, quote, used to indicate obligation, duty, or correctness, typically when criticizing someone's action. Notice that word criticizing. When we should ourselves, we are implicitly criticizing ourselves. Shoulds are an active form of self-criticism. They suggest that we don't accept who or where we are. Saying the word should implies you're at war with reality itself because it presupposes you should know how to do something before you know how to do it. I should be thinner. I should be able to quit smoking. I should go to the gym. Should discounts any learning that you will have and makes you feel bad for learning something. When you use this word for someone else, it creates guilt and shame. It's destructive for rapport when you tell someone you should have done something because it's critical and judgmental. The truth is, should creates a feeling of insecurity, and insecurity doesn't motivate people in a sustainable way. Should contributes to people feeling discouraged, it's condescending, and it inhibits problem solving and gets in the way of true progress. Instead, the shift word for should are choose or chose or I want. It allows the mind to accept the learned lesson. Listen to the way this sounds. You should have done something different. You should have done it this way versus I wish you would have done something different. I think you could have chose to do something different. Choose feels different, not so negative. Learning is a great treasure. You cannot not learn. You cannot know how to do something perfect. Should is a deeply ingrained virus word that has you feeling like something more needs to happen than already is happening. It implies you're at war with reality because you're assuming something should be different than it is. Should keeps you from accepting the truth and embracing reality. It's bossy, it's domineering, and it comes across from a place of neuroticism and the desire to be controlling. Don't be seduced by your shoulds or anyone else's. It's just sleepy talk. Anybody likes to be mandated. Nobody does, or should it on. It's not the most productive or inspiring way to get leverage on someone or something. The next virus word is don't. The biggest virus word of all time because of the neurological law of negation, which states that in order to do something, you first have to think about doing it. And then whatever you think about doing becomes affirmative. The reason is because the subconscious mind doesn't receive negative information. It cancels all negative information before it enters the subconsciousness. And it receives only the affirmative part of the statement. With the word don't, you can totally manipulate people to think at whatever you want at any time. I can make you think exactly what I want you to think by saying, don't think about going to Hawaii, or don't think about drinking coffee, or don't see a purple elephant. You are immediately going to see these things in your mind because you have to see them before you decide not to see them. And then, well, it's too late. By telling someone, don't do something, they are absolutely obsessed on doing it on a subconscious level. Don't eat too much. Don't worry. Don't lose your keys. Don't cheat on your spouse. Drop it from your vocabulary. Instead, tell people what you desire and value and be positive instead of don't worry. The next virus word is hope. Some people like to argue that it's a good word because it seems like it's helpful when you need to get out of a negative mind state. However, it is outside in thinking because you're hoping that something outside of yourself will get better in order for you to feel better. Instead of you taking action for your true desires and having faith in the experience you're in, hope is not a strategy. Faith is. If you were to go to a doctor and they gave you a prescription saying, I really hope this will work, what do you think it presupposes? Just like try, that it won't work, and that becomes the reverse placebo effect. However, if the doctor says, this medication has been successful with others and I believe it will work for you, when delivered with confidence and with conviction, has a positive placebo effect, causing people to believe you. Here's another example. Let's say you invested in a stock that was crashing and you're hoping it was going to get better. That means it probably won't. Hope is not a strategy, and getting your money out of the stock market and reinvesting in something else is a strategy. Hope is a weak spell because it presupposes that it's not going to work out. Faith and conviction in your beliefs is a far better way to get through a challenging time. As Margaret Thatcher once said, watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny or blessed-destiny. What we think, we become. My father always said that. I think I am fine. So word up, mother lovers. It's time to get with the flowgram and communicate in healthy, fun conversations so we can heal the world. Remember, simple shifts in your vocabulary make all the difference in the way you experience reality. I'm Michealah Ivie, optimistic educator, relationship coach, and wordtritionist, and I'm grateful for your attention. You can find me at partnership.us.